Assalamualaikum and a very merry good morning, a very magnificent moment I wish to all the viewers, the participants, the students who watch this session of Perlis Online Teaching. So this morning session is for Muet reading, which is the new format which will begin in this 2021, right? And then we are going to focus on reading components, mainly for part 1, part 2, and part 3. At the end, we are going to have a try for part 3. Okay, we have some of the participants of this session or the viewers who actually watch through the Google Meet. Okay, we have here, you can actually put your speaker on and have communication with me. You may say something, hi, or hello, good morning, right? Who we have here? I cannot see the name clearly, but you may say hi, right, for this session. And bear with me for these 40 minutes for some information, some knowledge, and maybe some skills that might be useful for your reading, for Muet new reading, right, a new format of reading. Okay, so before I start off, so such a big appreciation, a big applaud for Perlis Education Department for this teaching online program, Perlis Online Teaching program, which is actually powered, synergized by SSTP. Okay, you are live with me, Madam Norazilawati Abdul Razak, for Muet reading session. Okay, we're going to start off. First of all, you're going to be introduced to the new Muet aggregate score, right? For the new Muet, you will have band 1, band 2, band 2.5, band 3, and up to band 5 plus. Compared to the previous Muet, that the highest band is 6. But for this new format of Muet, the highest band is 5 plus. This is only to revise, to review what you have actually maybe obtained, some information about this new Muet that is actually being aligned with CEFR, right? So Muet band that we have now starting 2021 is actually being revised, being value added, right, to the CFR descriptors. So before that, you may get some ideas about what is CFR, right? So CFR is the Common European Framework for Languages, and it is international standard of teaching and learning languages. So this CFR is actually globally recognized, and they have the bands ranging from A1 to C2, right? And our Muet band starting 2021 are being aligned, right, to meet with the CFR descriptors or level. So your Muet now, actually the bands have been value added so that it would be recognized maybe globally, right? Okay, so this is the CFR global scale, so ranging from A1 and C2. Your Muet level of 5 plus or 5 is in the band of proficient users, which is similar to C1 and C2 in the CFR global scale. Right, now we just start off with Muet component itself. Of course, we have listening, speaking, reading and writing, with actually carries all 25%, yeah, for each of the component. Okay. Now we start out with the new format of reading paper. The code is still the same, 800/3, and then there are 7 parts, yeah, in your reading paper. Okay, 7 parts which actually give you 40 MPC questions. There are 10 tags, and then you are given 75 minutes to answer all the questions. So average, yeah, you have to spend around 1.5 minutes, yeah, for each of the questions. Okay, so in your reading paper, there are 7 parts. Yeah? Part 1 is called multiple matching. There are 4 questions based on 3 different simple texts. Yeah? And then part 2 and part 3, these are 2 parts which actually also might be of the same band for Muet, right? So there are 10 questions for that. Part 4 also MCQs, and there are 6 questions. Part 5 is a gap text. You are given 6 missing sentences in a text, and you are given with 7 options, right, for you to choose from. That, and then you fill in all the 6 missing sentences. For parts 6 and 7, there are 40 questions, right, based on different types of text. Okay, this is the list of the reading skill that you have to master in order to have such good level of proficiency for your reading paper, right? You have reading multiple texts for specific factual information, yeah? Reading for main idea and supporting details. You have to make inference, yeah? Identifying the detail. These are the reading skills, yeah? Involved in all the parts. Yeah? I mean, from part 1 to part 7, right? And you have to know the main idea, the supporting details, to understand the text organization, yeah? To identify or to deduce the meaning from the context, to distinguish the facts and opinion. All these are the skills, yeah? That we are going to apply some of these skills, yeah? When we do part 1, 2, 3. Especially for part 3, yeah, for this session. Okay, you are to interpret the text, yeah, for author's intention, attitude and style, comparing and evaluating information in different texts, identifying the purpose of paragraphs or text, recognizing the text structure, identifying cause and effects, yeah, recognizing text content, the feature as well, and then recognizing text organization feature, right? So these are the skills that you have to master, yeah, in order to have a favorable band for your reading. Okay, these are the text types actually will be applied in all the parts, yeah? Part 1 from part 7. Okay, short and simple text normally can be found in part 1, part 2, and maybe part 3. Right? These texts can be factual, right? So the words or the language used is quite simple and straightforward, right? Compared to the another part, let's say starting from part 4, 5, yeah, 6 to 7. So those texts for these parts is quite long. complex, and the difficulty level of understanding is quite complex. Right? You have to really understand the text for the another advanced level of a part in the reading paper. Okay. Okay. Now let us look at the strategies. Right? What you need to do in order to actually answer the questions correctly, understand the text effectively. Right? So when you actually having the exam paper or the passage or the text in front of you, first thing to do is to skim, right? First thing to do in order to actually to really understand the requirement of the questions and to understand the text itself, right? To skim, right? When you skim, it means that you read quickly. You read quickly and to identify the main idea of the text. Main idea means the central idea. What is the text all about? Right? So it is about to skim, to read quickly in order to identify the main idea of the text. Right? It is important to know what is the text all about before you move forward, before you move further, right? To understand the passage, to understand the requirement of the question as well. Okay, and then the next step is to skim the MCQs. Right? It is to read through the questions. To read through the questions, and not only the question, but also the options given. Right? The options for these part 1, 2, and 3 are all A, B, C. Right? You have to also read those options given. Right? So read the questions, and then also read the options given. Right? And then the next stage is to identify the keywords used in the questions, right? You are to put in mind some of the clues that you are going to actually use the clues when you attempt the questions, right? And then, when you have the keywords in mind, you are to again skim and then scan the text for locating the answers. Right? So when you skim, it means that you read quickly, right? And then when you scan, it means that you locate only relevant details, right? In order to answer that particular questions. Okay, and then the final step is just to choose the correct answer, which actually is quite relevant to the keywords that you have actually put in mind before, and then make sure you make some justification after that. It means that is that answer is correct? Is the answer that you have chosen actually is relevant to what is asked? Right? So it's very important to justify your answer. Is this the correct one? Right? Okay. Okay. Let us go through the requirement for reading part 1. Yeah. Okay. So you may actually also involve in this session. Yeah? You may say something. You may ask if you have something you want to ask. If you have doubt, you may actually ask something, say something, right? Okay, you are live now with me. Make sure you also involve, right, in this session. Okay. Now, for part 1, yeah, the text types, yeah, might be quite simple and short. There are 3. Yeah, there are 3 short, simple texts for part 1, which actually have the same idea. Let's say it is the advertisement, right? 3 advertisements based on the same matter. Let's say it is the advertisement on the rented accommodation, maybe rented house, maybe rented room. For the, let's say here, we are going to do this after this slide. There is a sample of question for part 1, right? So another type might be the announcement, the notices, official documents, the signs, the labels, and the directories. So these 3 short simples, simple text might have the same idea, right? Let's say it is about the products or the services which actually give the same benefits to the people. Okay. So for reading skill in part 1, you are just to read these 3 multiple texts to identify specific factual information, right? So it is very factual. It means that what is written in the text will be the answers. There is no something beyond that you have to infer, for example, right? So everything is written in the text. So for these tasks, you are to choose which text, whether A, B, or C as the answer, and then indicate the answer on the answer sheet. You are going to blacken the answer sheet, whether it is A, B, or C. Okay, so this is a sample of part 1, the sample of part 1. For part 1, the questions appear first, and then followed by the 3 texts, right? So question 1 to 4, actually based on the notices, right? Based on the text. So like in this sample of questions, you are to read 3 notices about houses for rent, and then you are to answer the question 1 to 4 based on the notices about houses for rent, right? So there are 4 actually. It's not it's in the form of the questions that you have to indicate which notice that actually fulfill the requirement of question, let's say number 1, right? So question asks, which house has easy parking? So you are to skim and scan all these 3 different notices, right? To answer 1, right? So this is only the sample, right? Part 1 is quite simple, right? It's quite straightforward, and then you have to actually understand the question first. You have to understand the question, put the keyword in mind. Let's say question 1, it is about easy parking, right? And then question 2, which house is the closest to shops, right? And then number 3, suitable for nature lovers, right? The keyword is nature, let's say. And then number 4, has no bedroom furniture. Keyword is no bedroom, right? So the notices given is based on these 3 information given for 2-story house and 3-room house and single room. Okay. Okay, you may take some time to look at the sample of question, right? The question and the text. Okay. Anything that you want to ask me, you are allowed to do so. Okay, this is only the sample, right? Okay, this is suggested responses. Okay. I don't have much intention actually to focus on part 1, but I just actually reveal some styles of or some ideas about part 1. Okay, now we move on part 2 and part 3. Okay, so for part 2 and part 3 actually applies the same task focus. Yeah, the factual text might be ranging from short stories, yeah, like magazine or newspaper article, blogs, yeah, biographies, emails, yeah, might be the letters, informal or formal letters. So these are the texts that might be appeared for part 2 and part 3. Okay, for reading skill for part 2 and 3, you have to apply the skill of reading for main ideas and supporting details. What we did, what I mentioned before, it is scanning, right? It is scanning. And then, skimming and scanning. Yeah? Reading for main ideas and supporting details involve you to skim and scan, right? And then you are to make inference. It is making inference. So this skill need you to actually make some conclusion, to deduce, yeah, using the information from the text that you have read, and then come up with your own ideas or your own conclusion, or it is more on assumption, right? Correct assumption and then conclusion about a matter, yeah, being asked in the question. So inferencing actually needs you to use your critical thinking that the answers cannot be derived, yeah, or cannot be found directly from the text, that you have to come up with your answers. Okay, and then you have to identify the details, yeah, the examples to support the argument, right? There might be argument, or there might be statement, yeah, in the question that you have to identify the detail from the text and choose the correct answer, yeah, to support the arguments or maybe the statement in the question. And you also have to predict the outcomes. Yeah? You have to also predict the outcomes. What happened then? What will happen next? Right? What will happen at the end? Right? So that needs you to actually predict the outcomes. In our hands-on after this, in our practice in this session, these skills will be applied, right? These skills will be applied. And then you are to, for these tasks, you are to choose from A, B, C, and then to indicate in the answer sheet. So the answer is given, and they are going to blacken the correct answer on the answer sheet. Okay, for part 2, sample of question for part 2. Yeah? So you are to, it is in the form of email, right? It is in the form of email. This is a formal email. Yeah? This is a formal email from a lecturer to the students, right? To computer science students, right? So this is only the sample. Okay, you are to read an email from a university lecturer and then answer the questions 5 to 9 based on the email. So part 2, the questions are for number 5 to 9. Okay, this is the sample of the text, right? You may take your time to read, right? This is sample, and look at the language used. It's quite understandable or comprehensible. It actually fulfills most level of the proficiency. Okay, take your time to read. Okay, so this is in the form of email. This is formal email, right? So the questions, okay, these are the sample of questions for part 2, right? It's quite direct, but you have to also apply the skills that that I mentioned before, that you actually being exposed before. You have to skim, you have to scan, right? You have to also make inference, to predict and all. This is the question 6, 7. You have to make a lot of inferences actually, yeah? 7, and then question 8. The answer is not directly, cannot be directly, taken or found. You have to actually infer why RM5 voucher is given why, right? So whether it is A, B, C. Okay. Okay, again, number 9, the answer is not directly there. You have to also infer. Okay. Okay, this is suggested answer for that sample. Okay, for 5, the answer is A. 6 is C. 7, 8, 9. Okay. Okay, you may ask something if you have doubts. Yeah, you may also maybe ask the meaning of word that you don't understand. Okay, let us move on to part 3. Okay, let us move on to part 3. Okay, so this is the text, the sample of text for part 3. It is to suggest that it is the narrative type of text, right? As suggested that it is the extract taken from maybe a novel, right? A short story. It is only the samples. Yeah? It is for question 10 to 14. Okay, and this is in the form of narration or story. Okay, questions? Okay, there are maybe questions from the participant. Okay, I'm looking at here. Okay, can you, hi teacher, hi. Okay, can you explain a question that contains true, false, and not stated answers? Oh, because when I want to answer this question, I will definitely be misled for a false or not stated answer. Okay, thank you for the question. Actually, that false not stated options, that is for part 1. It's not the part that was in the old format, right? What I discussed today is reading a new format of Muet. It's okay. I'll try to answer that questions. Yeah, that actually for false not stated options. Yeah, it's like question 1 to 7. Yeah, if I'm mistaken, in the old format of Muet. Yeah, for false answer or false statement, it means that it is the subject matter or the ideas is actually being mentioned in the text, but in the question, it is wrongly mentioned about maybe the fact regarding on the matter. Okay, I cannot give you the example here because I'm actually preparing for new format of Muet. Yeah? Actually, when it is for statement, it means that the matter is being mentioned in the question as in the text, but there are some wrong ideas and wrong information, right, included in the statement that is considered as false. Compared to not stated statement, it means that it is not mentioned at all. The information is not mentioned at all in the text, right? And then the question actually use some kind of statement which is not being mentioned, or the ideas actually are not being mentioned at all in the text. Okay, that is my answer for that. Yeah? That is my idea. Okay, I hope that answer your question. Yeah, yeah, I believe so. Right? Okay, hopefully that actually answer your doubt, right? Clear your doubt on your issue, right? Okay. So can we continue the session for part 3? This is the new format of Muet, yeah? So, okay, so now, part 3. This is the sample of part 3. It is an extract from a novel, right? It is a suggestion that part 3 is in the narration type, right? Okay, so for this part, the questions are for 10 to 14. Right? So it is in the narration type, right? And then questions based on the extract, right? It's quite straightforward a little bit. Okay, this is just an answer for that. Okay, now let us give it a try. Let us do part 3 together. Okay, make sure you involve. You may put your speaker on, say something, ask question, right? Do some kind of interaction with me, say something, ask something, give your ideas, give your answer, and hopefully it would be an interactive session, right? Okay, now let us do part 3. Remember that to apply the strategies that first to skim, right, and then to skim, first to skim the passage, and then to skim the questions, put the keyword in mind, and then you skim and scan the text for the answers, and then you justify your answers, right? So you are going to read the extract from a short story, and then answer the question 10 to 14, right, based on the extract. Okay, this is the extract, yeah, of a short story. Okay, so you may take some time to read, right? Okay. It is a reading, so it means read, right? I will not read it for you, you will read, right? And then we will discuss the main idea for the whole passage, and then the main idea for each paragraph. Okay? Okay, I give you around 1 or 2 minutes for you to read. Read for the main idea, right? And then later I will show you the questions that you will scan, sorry, you skim and scan what is needed for your answers. Okay, I encourage your ideas about being what in paragraph 1, right? Paragraph 2, and so on. Okay. Okay, I have that is I think enough for skimming in order to identify the main idea. So anybody wants to share what is the main idea of this passage or this extract? Actually, the main idea means what is the general idea about the passage. Does anybody want to share? Okay. No one? Okay, please say something. Okay. Anybody want to share? Okay, seems that you need maybe some time, to read maybe, right? Okay, it's okay that this extract is about actually a program, or I think it is not a program, it is an effort, right? By students for a donation drive, right? It is an effort, right, by a class of students for a donation drive, right? So that is the main idea. Okay, so these are the questions based on that extract, based on the passage. Question 10, Dylan gave the dollar bill to Miss Madison because he was very, whether A, rich, or B, brave, or C, honest. Right, so the keyword is dollar bill. Gave the dollar bill because, okay. And then 11, why did Madison suggest that the money should be taped onto the whiteboard? Why? Why is the keyword. Money to be taped, right, is also the keyword. The options are, so people would donate their money to, or B, so anyone who had lost it could get it back, or C, so someone could find other things they had lost. Okay, and then 12, why did more and more students tape money onto the whiteboard? Why? Students. Why? More students tape money, right? So that might be the keywords. And then the options, they had a lot of money to donate, for A. For B, they were curious to know what it was for. Or C, they had found a lot of lost money in the past. Or 13 now, the phrase wasn't going to do anything stupid with the money showed that they were the A, trusted their teacher, knew she would spend it on them, or C, thought she had a specific purpose for the money. Right? So you have to actually infer the phrase wasn't going to do anything stupid with the money. Right? So what does it mean? Right? 14, Madison held back her tears as she recalled the moment because she was very, whether sad that it was all over, or happy to collect the money, or C, touched by their generous donations. Right? So the keyword held back her tears, right? Recall the moment, right? Okay. You may actually also answer all these in the Google form provided at the end. Okay. Okay, remember that we want to read the passage, but for more, okay, the keywords can be found when you actually read through. Okay, anybody wants to give the answers for 10? Anybody? The answers for 10? Okay, so the answer maybe can be found here in it actually is not, the answers cannot be found directly, right? But you have to actually infer Jangan attitude, right? Whether rich, brave, or honest, right? Here, the idea of Picabit brought to his teacher, right, indicate this Banner's attitude, right? And then there is the statement of, it wasn't my money, right? It wasn't my money. Banner actually turned the dollar or gave the dollar to the teacher, Madison. So from here, actually, we can infer that Dylan actually here, right? Honest. Okay. He's not that rich, is not mentioned there, right? But accurate one for such attitude, right? By picking up and then brought to the English teacher and then admitted that it wasn't his money, right? So it shows that Dylan is honest, right? Dylan was honest. Okay. Now, for 11, anybody wants to give the answer, to show the answer, to share and then show off your ability here, you may do so. Okay, for 11, anybody wants to answer? Why did Madison suggest that the money should be taped onto the whiteboard? Okay, keyword is suggest the money to be taped or should be taped onto the whiteboard. Okay, let's see back to the passage. Right, so in paragraph 2 is mentioned about she suggested that Banner tape it, right, to the whiteboard at the front of the classroom, where she always puts lost things. Okay, tape it onto, to the whiteboard, and then where she always puts lost things, right? So the idea for the answer for question 11 can be derived from that paragraph 2. Tape it to the whiteboard. She always puts lost things. So whether it is A, so people would donate their money to, or so anyone who had lost it could get it back, or C, so someone could find other things they had lost. Right, so which one is accurate? Any answer? right? The money has been taped onto the whiteboard, right? So suggested answer is B, right? So anyone who lost could get it back. Okay. And 12, why did more and more students tape money onto the whiteboard? Why did more and more students tape money? So more students tape money, why? So why? Okay, so let us look back to the passage. Okay, the first one, Hunter Rose actually spotted the dollar and then took the tape and then taped a second dollar, and then that actually triggered something in Madison students. So they actually asking about the purpose, right? And then so more students actually intrigued, tape up single dollar bills, and then so actually does it give some ideas for 12? Okay, whether A, they had a lot of money to donate, or they were curious to know what it was for, or they had found a lot of lost money in the past. Right? That actually give the ideas actually for B here, right? Okay, they were curious to know what it was for. They want to be actually part of that, right? Okay. Now for 13, you have to understand the expressions of wasn't going to do anything stupid with the money, right? So you have to actually understand that, and then you have to infer about whether teachers' attitude, right? Whether they would, she would spend it on, right? Or she would spend it on them, and then she had a specific purpose for the money. So you have to infer, right? So let us go back to the passage. Okay. Let's say here, paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, this paragraph. This paragraph actually gives you the idea about the students' perceptions with their teacher, right? Let's say here, Jake Bino. Everyone understood that the eventual plan for the dollars would be for something good, and that their teacher wasn't going to do anything stupid with the money. So you have to infer, you have to actually deduce and conclude that the phrase of something good and relate this to their teacher, right? And the teacher wasn't going to do anything stupid, right, with the money. Okay, let us see that the details actually helps you for question 13, right? Anybody wants to share the answer? Right, so this is the idea that they actually trusted their teacher, right? The teacher will not do something wrong or something bad with the money, right? They actually perceive the teacher as the good one and trusted teacher. Okay, question 14. Madison held back her tears as she recalled the moment because she was very whether sad, whether happy or touched by their generous donation. Okay, so when there are tears, right, it means maybe happiness, maybe sadness, right? Or you are being touched by something. Okay, let us go back to the passage here. Okay, so okay, that is in the final paragraph. Okay. Okay, their answer was to tape enough money to the whiteboard over the new few days to push the amount to $321.06. Madison, choking back tears as she recalls the moment. Choking back tears means there were tears, right, in the eyes. Says she carefully peeled the cash off the board and made the donation just before the beginning of May, which is Cancer Awareness Month. So, choking back tears, whether, you may infer whether it is a sad moment, something to do with the donation, the money collected. And then they have actually enough donation to donate for, here is for Cancer Awareness Month. Okay, let us see question 14. Whether it is, she was very sad that it was all over, or happy to collect the money, or touched by their generous donation, right? So the answer, I believe that what is accurate is what? Touched by their generous donation, right? Okay, it is not happy to collect the money, of course, the money makes you happy, but in this context, right, she was actually touched for their generous donations. Okay, from the passage, right, we have some words here. You actually have come across some of the words that you are not very familiar with, right? Let's say the word wondered, right? It is in the base form of wonder. Okay, in the paragraph, it is paragraph 1, right? Bana wandered back to the classroom. The word wandered, right? So it means that Bana wandered back to the classroom. It means that to moved, right? It is moved. Moves normally aimlessly, right? Moves aimlessly. Confessed in paragraph 2, the word confesses here. Bana confesses, right? The word confesses. It wasn't my money, so it means admits, right? Admits. Okay, one good expression here, got it rolling, in paragraph 3, right? Okay. Paragraph 3, that got it rolling. Got it rolling. Okay. So it means that they have actually, or that event of taping the dollar actually on the board got it rolling. It means that to or made something start happening. Okay, so got it rolling means made something start happening. Okay, and the word triggered, I just to make you learn some new words here maybe, right? Okay, the word triggered. Okay, also in paragraph 3, the word triggered here. Triggered something in Madison students, right? The word triggered means here to initiated, right? To start off something, right? Triggered. Caused something to happen. Okay, also in paragraph 3, the word intrigued. The word intrigued. Okay, in paragraph 3, the word intrigued. Where's that word? Okay. Okay, I'm looking for the, okay. Most students intrigued. tip up single dollar bill. So the word entering here is, okay, got interested, right? Or there are actually quite curious, wants to know what is happening, right? Got interested, yeah? Or became interested, yeah? Okay, and the word snowball in paragraph 4. Okay, snowballed. Okay, paragraph 4. Okay, the effort snowballed. The word snowball here. Snowball means accumulated. Yeah? Something has become actually bigger, right? Maybe in amount or in total, let's say. Snowball means accumulated or improved, right? Or improved. Last word, reveal, paragraph 5. Reveal, paragraph 5. Okay, the word reveal here. The students among themselves decided Madison had some unspoken goals, some mysterious secret which she would reveal. Reveal means to expose or to disclose, right? Okay. So this is the suggested answers. Okay. So we are going towards the end now. So it is some advice for you that in order to improve your reading, do read extensively, read critically, and then from that you learn something, you learn words, you learn phrases, you learn the structure, and then make sure you do a lot of practices because that makes you actually perfect. And always do self-reflection and self-assessment at the end of your practice. Okay, so you may actually do the exercise that we actually have done in the session, right? Through this link, right? For my Stpm 150121. Okay, you may reach the exercise that we just discussed. Okay, and then do give some evaluation. Okay, that's the end. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest, watching this session, being with me for these more than 40 minutes. Thank you. Happy reading. Have a magnificent day and always be safe. With that, I thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.